welcome to this week's 5 Questions With. I've got the fantastic Justin from Herb House Spa in Limewood with me. Thank you for joining me, Justin, and thank you for the sound bath. I'm here for a sound bath. It's actually a local spa to me, about 20 minutes, 30 minutes drive. And one of the things I'm super impressed by, Justin, is your fitness timetable. It's huge. It's one of the largest I've seen on a spa. What inspired you to create it?
Yeah, it's a great question, Sarah. I think it goes back to just trying to allow the timetable to grow organically. And I think a lot of people say that, like, let it grow organically, but what does it actually mean? And I think for me, it was about putting in classes that resonate with members. And so that starts off with in the process where, we're getting in the high intensity classes. So we'll do, your circuits and your spin and hits and all of that. And then obviously you got your yogas and your Pilates and that sort of then spreads. And then finding the right practitioners to complement your philosophy and your ethos.
As you go outside of the normal classes.
Exactly. And then what happens is, if you're fortunate enough, you find the right people.
Yeah.
And you get them in. And then you brainstorm with your vision, and hopefully it marries up with the people that you bring in, which I would argue is essential. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
And then through that, you're able to then offer more classes and an exciting offering. So it sounds a bit cheesy, but actually, when you look at it, if you dial it back, the intention was never to offer the most. Right. I'm not about. It's not about.
It just happens that way.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because it wasn't about what I want to set out to create a fitness timetable that's just loads and loads of classes, and it was about quality. And then through that, I know the old quantity, cliche, but through offering these great classes, and then, as I said, just growing organically, suddenly it's turned into a fantastic timetable. Having said that, you have to have the facilities and the logistical nous to put that on, right? So we obviously had one studio to start. We then developed a second studio, which was a bespoke studio, which we had in mind, and the thinking behind that was, right, we want something that is more meditative, calming, bespoke yoga, meditation, Pilates space.
It's beautiful. It's a safari style. It's beautiful.
I mean, I'm biased, but yes. It is fantastic. But yeah, and then so with that, obviously, facilities, if you had 2 studios or 3 studios, you've got the flexibility. Mm-hmm. And then there's just the sort of timetabling. And then, again, putting on the classes that resonate. Because any facility can say, well, we got, 20 classes a day, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and we'll just whack them on hour after hour. But do your members want it? Do your guests want it? Is it quality classes, or are you just repeating? So a lot of the classes, again, that I put on, say, for example, we'd do a vinyasa flow, or we'd do a power Pilates, or we'd do a strengthening session. And then it was a very sort of targeted class, which then the members were like, and guests were like, oh, this is really good. We keep our classes small, so then it's like, okay, well, we can put on another one.
Yes.
So then we grow, and again, but then it's not like we have 4 or 5 or 6 just back to back, because that would then lead the instructor boredom. Mm-hmm. And I think not intentionally, but they start to then, the class just becomes a bit mundane. So again, it's just keeping it fresh, so they're not doing too many. So you see what I'm saying. So it's not just like we got 6. Yeah, we don't have 6 of the same class, because that would then be a bit boring for the instructor, a bit boring for the members and guests, and you can see that you're just getting numbers by a lazy way of just repeating.
Yeah,
it's a lot of thought has gone, and I mean, I would say it's been 7 odd years in the making to achieve where we've got to, the offering that we have. So again, that goes back to the organic way and thought behind it.
So obviously you've got the logistics side, and you said you've got the studio you had, and then you grew and you've built another studio. I always found, when I was a spa manager, director, that getting really good quality instructors when you're a country house property quite far from London is a struggle. How have you managed that? Is it that you've got great instructors locally? How have you built your... Because I think when you've got your general HIIT and fitness style classes, it's one thing. But when you're doing like different styles of yoga, you've got sound bathing, you've got this incredible holistic side, how are you getting access to those instructors?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Again, I think, I mean, that's the $1 million question, I'd say,
Yeah.
because everyone wants good instructors, right?
There's just more in London.
Well, yeah, exactly, right. I mean, I to be brutally honest, it's a bit of a one which I can't really answer wholeheartedly, in the sense that I don't really know, and that's being honest.
Yeah.
But I would say that your reputation pulls in the people.
So they're travelling far. They're not Lyndhurst.
Oh no, we do have local instructors, but we'll have had instructors who have moved to the area, or are willing to commute a little bit further.
Yeah.
And because of that reciprocity between where they work and what we can offer and what they can bring. So we want good instructors.
Yeah.
So we look after them. We want the best, and it's not just about throwing loads of money at stuff. It's about the environment.
Yes.
That caring, nurturing environment, the relationship you have, the care, working together. And we all in this industry, we should be caring about our members and guests just as much as we are caring about our instructors.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. So yeah, I think and yes, I said sometimes. Sometimes you get people in who think you're good and they aren't, or you get people in who think are not going to be great and they just turn out to be fantastic. They grow into the role. But also, again, I went back, I alluded to this earlier in the first question, but that philosophy and ethos, again, it's so easy to fall back on. But if you're genuine with that, and you're genuine with where you are going with the business and offering and what you see, and your instructors bring that, and they're true to themselves,
you'll attract the right people.
Yeah, you attract the right people.
Yeah.
And you've got to be patient. I think a lot of times, I go back to the class question about how it's grown. So I wouldn't just put classes on for the sake of putting classes on.
You've waited.
So I waited, and and then the class doesn't have it, because I learned the hard way. I did put on classes, and they just failed.
Yeah, because you found a class, you put an instructor
and you sort of plug and play. Right, in you go, do that class, and great instructor.
Yeah.
Doing a class they don't believe in, or it's not quite their specialty, and it fails. So what's the point? So then take them away, and you just wait, and you find, and as I say, being where we are, what we offer, I feel like it's a combination of that attracts the people all the instructors that we want.
Yeah, that's cool.
And we try to provide the setting for what they want to teach.
I love it, because it is a challenge, isn't it? When you're in, and even some that are super remote, therapists, team members anyway, but let alone these sort of yoga, sound bathing specialists. So with regards to the classes, you've obviously got this incredible timetable. Is it mainly members? Do you find spa days book on, hotel guests? Do you charge for spa days? How do you make it work with getting that balance right? Because obviously your members want to rebook week after week after week.
Yeah.
Your hotel guest wants to come when they come on their stay. And your spa day probably doesn't know there's a fitness class until they walk past the studio. So how are you balancing all of that?
Yeah.
Or aren't you?
Yeah. Honestly, it's a juggling act.
Yeah.
It's a juggling act. I think, listen, it is definitely a marriage between your hotel guests and your members. Yeah. And everyone's model is going to be specific to them, and they have to work out what that model is and where their priorities are. And you can have both priorities. I think I think it's a bit weird to think that your members are more important than your guests, or your guests are, it doesn't exist like that.
No.
So the way I look at it is that the members are, they are our lifeblood, and we want to look after them, and they are the family. They're the extended family, the Limewood family, who come every day.
Yes.
And I see them more than my own family, so they are my extended family, or my real family. And it's great because you get to know them so well, because you see them every day. You're spending a lot of time with them. You're sitting with them. You're catching up, coffees, chats, in the gym, in the class, and I make time as well. I think that's important. For me anyway,
it's so much better for relationships.
I don't think
if you do make the time.
I think so. I mean, that's the human factor. And also that's how you know someone really, it's as opposed to emails, or phone. So there's that, and then the hotel guests, we obviously value so much. It's about coming here and getting away from everything. So that's really special. So we maintain the small number of numbers in the classes, but because we have such a big offering, that helps as well. So do you see
okay.
what I'm saying? So and it's not just obviously loads of classes so that are the same. It's the different ones, but we actively encourage residents when they book through our reservations team to look ahead and to see, oh, what are you interested in anything particularly? So we can get them into
Got you.
so they can book it. And then also there's loads of flexibility. For example, if something is a members only class, or
So you
we
do
know,
have members. Sorry to interrupt. You do have
yeah.
members only. Sorry, I just
Absolutely.
wanted to jump.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
and that's important too, I think, because you can't, with any sort of degree of certainty, without annoying people or letting people down, say that there's always going to be an offering.
Yeah, of course.
So we have members on these classes, and I've looked at the timetable and the times, and it's that nitpicking which can be a bit finicky, and I think it can be, to be honest, a bit tedious. But that's what allows me then to go to our race team and say, right, guys, you can actively try to get residents booked onto classes that they think that they would like. We also have a really flexible sort of cancellation period policy, if that makes sense, in the sense that they can cancel right up until the last minute, not on the app, but on, if they call ahead, they can book.
Is that members?
Yeah, and guests. And just being honest with the members, so we say, it's again about it's a courtesy thing, isn't it? We're saying, okay, you book on a class, and you're not really going to make it, or you think it might be a chance. Just do the right thing.
Exactly.
And actually, it's just education, isn't it? And saying, do unto others as that weren't done unto you. Just take a little bit of thought, because you then will benefit the rewards the other way.
Yeah, it's karma. It's karma.
Absolutely. And I think, again, we've sort of a work in progress with getting the members to understand that our hotel guests are good with communication between the spa and the res team, and obviously the fitness team, and booking things in. So we have that nice sort of those channels open, so we can then say, okay, well, our hotel guests are equally able to get into classes as our members, and also the spa days. That one probably is a little bit trickier, in the sense that sometimes on a spa day, as I'm sure you go with the flow, and you don't know how you're going to be feeling.
Yes.
So therefore, I also try to always, again, not easily done, but try to have some wiggle room or flexibility within the class. And going back to the instructors, they have an understanding that, to be creative and to think. So they fall out of that sort of rigid, right, I've got 6 people in my class and I do the same format. I encourage my instructors to go outside, to make use of the space in the grounds, to think creatively, to change it up, and if we have to get one more person on it, we can, obviously within all the health and safety parameters, but making sure that the class is always safe and intimate. We're never going to have 20 people in a class. That's not our style.
One person wants
exactly
to get in on a class because they're here, they've turned on a spa day, and they're like, wow, I feel like something.
Exactly, and they can squeeze it in, and that also adds a nice sort of freshness to it, because large part of our class base is our members.
So, do you charge for your spa days and your hotel guests? Do you charge them, and members get it included in their membership? How does that work for the classes?
Yeah, so that's something that's recently been reviewed. So our members, the classes are included.
Yeah.
In the membership, we have different membership types.
Yeah.
So that will be included in the membership subscription. Hotel guests it's included.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah,
brilliant.
And they can get onto members only classes if there's space on the day.
Yeah. Perfect.
So again, it's it's not keeping rules for just the rules' sake. I think that's also a bit saying, oh, listen, these are members only classes, but you got 2 spaces and we got 2. Yeah, let them on. Why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
And then our spa days, we do charge. Now again, it goes back to just the quality of the instructors, and it's not about making it difficult. It's actually, I think people are willing to pay for good classes, and it is, the relationship that I have built up with the practitioners is a really genuine one. I stay in touch with them. It's hard, in the sense that it's just a big family. It's a time commitment, and it's a lot of work, because it's a two-way thing. I'm sure. Sure, if you ask them, they might say the same. But it's trying to just be open with them, and then they're good practitioners, and I'm sure anyone who takes on a teacher or instructor will be like, oh yeah, man, that's normal. But when you really know and you can see the quality of the work, and spa guests know that, and it's a nominal fee, you're getting something valuable from that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I've seen some hotels that are charging for holistic courses because, as we say, like the sort of more fitness orientated ones, your PTs, your fitness team deliver, and the hotel guests pay, and spa days, not members, hotel guests and spa days pay a £10 supplement to join a holistic class.
Yeah.
And does that upset people? Probably not, because they know that they're getting a practitioner, they know they're getting someone really unique in that space. So I don't think it's an issue at all.
Yeah, and I think we try to, if instructors are sick or away, we try to cover with equal ability. So someone who's, it's not a Pilates teacher who we just dragging in to teach dance. It is, we have dedicated sound healers, gong masters, mindfulness practitioners, and again, obviously, it's on their availability. But you're putting in someone who knows their craft, and is passionate and lives and breathes that craft. So therefore, it's the same with chefs. When you get people that care about what they do, I think we talked about it, didn't we? When you care about what you do, you get it to the show. And I think that's a reassurance. From a sort of customer, put your customer hat on. For me, that's so reassuring. I'm like, I'm going to a class where they're not just going to the motions. They really live and breathe what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to pay for that, because if you go anywhere, you're gonna pay for a class in some capacity. So as a spa day, you're probably hoping that everything is included, but
I think it's
a bolt on.
Yeah, I think it's depending on which the class is, it's understandable.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that we chatted about last time is your retreats. So you have this incredible list of practitioners, and I know from experience, when I've looked at running retreats, that it's quite hit and miss as to whether they're commercially viable and logistically possible, because you need to get so many elements in a line. There's a lot now, particularly now on the retreat side of the industry, there are places just running dedicated retreats. How have you managed to constantly run successful retreats?
You like to ask the hard questions. Again, I think it's just being authentic, isn't it? Like I think with retreats, what I've come to sort of to see is that over the years, people they get something that works, and then it's just like a carbon copy, right? We'll just bubble wrap it up or rehash it and just do the same thing year after year after year. And I suppose there's that old adage, if something ain't broke, why fix it, kind of thing. But with retreats, I take a different approach.
Okay.
I look at it like, what is resonating with people at that time, and it takes a little bit of sort of digging in the dirt, literally. That's what, I'm in the forest. Yeah, I'm out in the forest. Where's Justin? Yeah, no, just digging around, digging for the next retreat. Yeah, there we go. That's how I did. That's the secret. Yeah. That's my secret. So it's sort of getting down and dirty with what do people want? Understand your audience, understand your market, and then you work backwards again. So then it's like, okay, so we've had our wild wandering reroute retreats for a few years now, and within that reroute, we've had our wild wanderings and our forest fix retreats. But every year, sorry, someone could say, "Oh, well, you're just rehashing it." But what I'm doing is working backwards for what do I want to get for them to get out of that retreat, and then you've got to know again who you've got to know who you're going to bring in and what they're all going to offer and how that's going to really appeal to your audience.
Yeah.
And then it's trying to match everything into. I think again, if you're going very bespoke and very particular, maybe hot and cold contrast therapy or meditation or yoga retreat, that's sensible. I think people are getting a lot more out of holistic and a 360-degree approach on retreats. Okay. So what you're doing for recovery, obviously the location, the rest, the nutrition, building that all into the retreats.
Yeah, rather than focusing on one element, which is the contrast bathing, perhaps. That's an element of a retreat where that might be your recovery piece. I get
yeah,
that.
and I think then that it appeals to people on a whole different level, because retreats can be quite samey.
Mm-hmm.
And there's loads of great places around the UK, and obviously internationally, where people can go on. You got the weather, so you go there.
Yeah.
You got all this, and got
Ibiza's
fantastic.
quite
I
a
know,
retreat
right?
place,
That's
isn't
what.
it?
Yeah, exactly. Funny that. So you got all those to contend with, but I think if you're taking that whole journey into consideration, and it can be stupid little things like you know if you're talking about gut health and timing of eating, are you building that into your retreat, or is it like
So you're being authentic, you're having the right
exactly,
timing
you're right,
for
exactly,
okay.
so if you're doing that sort of stuff, it's like, well, are you following through on the little details? On Otherwise it's like, oh, well, we just wedged it, well, because we couldn't get the studio time at that time, and actually the practitioner has to catch a train, so we're going to do that at that time. There's no That's the reason why you're doing those at that time. There hasn't been thought to actually the content.
Yes,
And then
I get you
what
now.
you're saying is what you're delivering.
So it's top class content, because
sure.
you're saying, right, this is what I'm doing, and every element is
Every
going to be timed. It's going to be done at the right time with the right practitioner. And if it doesn't all align, you don't run the retreat.
100%, right? And the people that you bring on, you can have amazing people in their own fields. Again, specialists who are brilliant, and they're loads. But again, are they flowing? Is the flow there? Are they really connecting in what they're saying and what they do? Or they're just names. Are you just getting in names? Are you just getting in people that you just kind of whack together because they're brilliant individually, and it's like a team. I used to work in sport, and I think that I've taken that into my role here, in that again, cliche, but what do teams do?
Yeah.
They work in a cohesive manner for a collective cause, right? Obviously, because that's what a team does. That obvious in the team, but then if you take it into, like, we're in the spa world and the fitness world, we can be very insular and very well, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right.
I see what you mean.
Now we're saying, okay, well, actually, let's just think more like a team, right? What do we want to achieve, right, for our guests and for our members and our retreat guests? Okay, now we bring in a team, not just a team because they're all there on the same day delivering.
So you craft it with them. There's the creative bit is with all of the practitioners that you're going to bring together.
And I think also it's not being afraid of, if you have conflicting opinions, or it sort of opens up a debate. You don't have to all be singing from the same hymn sheet, in my opinion, because it makes it very interesting in real life. Because I think we can be quite polar in our thinking. It's like you're either this or you're that, and there's no in between. We like to do that as humans. It's you're left or right.
Black or white.
Right. It's just because it's easy. You're either this or you're that. We like to put people in boxes, and what we aren't good at is thinking it's on a continuum. And actually, you can be fluid on that continuum, and you can have views on recovery and meditation and mindfulness that might swing between just on the metaphysical, or if you want to go into more spirituality, or if you're open to a debate. And I like that, because I think then again, that's a real way of, that's what I've always come across in my own thinking, is that I'm never normally just on the one side or the other. I kind of flip between, or depending on your own experiences and your readings and your own journey, where do you fit in? And it's not really always at the end of the spectrum. It's kind of somewhere more in the middle. So if you're getting people that can talk about that, they've got the same vision and they've got the same ethos, but actually,
the two sides, the ends of it in the middle bit.
Can you open that up and talk about it and deal with it in that sort of regard? Makes it real, makes it authentic, makes it special. And I think that's what makes the retreats really unique and stand out. I think allows our guests to be like, to go away having immersed themselves in that session and that experience, feeling that people are there because they have that passion.
And do you find the same people, just another question, do you find the same people come time and time again, because you do mix it up, you do change large elements? Do you find that you've got 20 people on a retreat and you get 10 or 20% of those come back each time? And is that why you work with people a bit like Jamie Clement?
Yes, Jamie. We love Jamie.
So that it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, Jamie's great. Yeah. Well, okay. So yeah, we do have repeats, for sure, and yeah. I think we're at the stage where, well, the retreat scheduling and the retreat thinking over the years has been to keep it fresh and to keep it new, and it's not necessarily. I might shoot myself in the foot here. It's not necessarily that we want the same people, because you want to open that up to new people to
having
everyone.
experience.
Right.
Energy,
and the way I
new
look
energy.
at it is, if people want to come again, that's great, because it is going to be different and it's going to be new. But I think it's what you're trying to, again, what you're trying to achieve from a retreat. Retreats for me, I guess, they have the grounding in that, people are getting away because they need to recharge and they need a reboot or a refresh or just a rewind or any anything you can think of.
Away from the
kids.
Exactly
right. And but if you're doing something, if it's going to be repeated, that consistency element then comes into something. So then it becomes like, okay, a lifestyle thing. And then I would say, okay, well, think about.
Need to come back?
Well, yeah, think about what you want to do is take away things. Now, you might go to a place because obviously it's a getaway from the kids, or it's a nice just break, and then actually you could be doing anything. So, but that's a different type of retreat. I think the retreats that we try to offer is a take-home retreat, that even exists. That makes sense.
So they take home elements, they implement that in their life, and hopefully they change and don't need to come back.
Well, to come back to experience in a different capacity, come back to the hotel, come back to the to the spa, come back for the classes, come back because you're on holiday, or but for the retreat, come back for the retreat, because we are going to make it different, and we are going to have something that is going to be fresh to take away. But I guess, I mean, again, it goes back to what are you trying to achieve. For me, it's about just opening up to different people, unless you've gone for a radically different theme, and it's
something very different.
and also people, and who are the practitioners, who you've got, a great speaker on sleep, or great Jamie Clements on your breath, and so and you're going because of that person. You read their work and you've seen them, and so then you want to see it in the flesh.
Yes.
So then, of course. But I don't think it has to be repeats. And we're lucky that we have had, a good number of repeat guests and members who've come on our retreats. But
you find a mix of people.
Yeah, I don't do it to just get repeats.
Yeah, you don't make it fresh so that it's new and the same people want to come. If they do, that's great. But you're making it fresh for yourselves, the practitioners, the business.
And like I said, it's thinking, going back to what do I want to offer for this sort of, at this time, every time period, recessions and COVID, and you think about all over the last sort of 6 years, go back 10 years, so much happens in life, and I think you can't just assume, without getting heavy, but global economics, tensions, people's way of thinking in that time. Are you saving? Are you is it a time of frivolity and enjoyment, or is it a time of reflection? Is it a time of mental health? Is it a time of physical health? All these things play a part in how we live our lives in this time. Like at this time next year, we might be having a completely different conversation about something. So what do we need to be looking at, and how is that going to help us in our day-to-day lives? So that's kind of how I build the retreats, as opposed to like, right, cool, yoga, right, we're just going to do a yoga retreat just because it's a yoga retreat. Sure, you can do a yoga retreat, but is it going to be centered on mobility? Is it going to be centered around that mind-body connection, spiritual connection? Are we trying to implement sort of a de-stress from everyday life, or is it for
so having a plan behind it?
Having a plan behind it.
There's a one group of people who I think should do more retreats. Spa managers and directors.
Yes, I agree.
It was really relevant at the event actually on Thursday. Is how many of us we all came together. Yoga, live music, breath work. Everyone was like, actually, I needed that. So there is, I think there is a group of specific people who give a lot of wellness, talk a lot about wellness, actually probably don't take part in enough wellness.
Well, absolutely right.
So that's a space. There we go. I'll leave that with you.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah. Where do we go with that?
I don't know. But
do you want me to do a retreat for our spa managers? And yeah, should we do that?
We should do that.
We could look at that. Yeah.
I'll leave it with you.
Leave it with me. Watch your space,
Justin, it's been really great. Thank you. If there was one thing that people could do today to improve their fitness offering, to start a retreat, what would be your one takeaway? What would be the one thing you'd leave this on?
Oh, you love these.
I love a tricky question.
I love a tricky question. On the spot. Yeah, great question. I think for me it would be about just going into yourself. Ask what is really important for you, because we do things because we think it's cool. We do things because we think
trends. Lots of trends.
And even because maybe not even the trend, maybe because you think you should be doing that. Oh, cold water swimming. Oh, I think I should be doing that because everyone's doing it. So I the trend. It's got to do that. So I would say instead of just going and scattergun approach on that, get to know yourself. What makes you tick? What do you take pleasure in, or what don't you take pleasure in? And then try to work backwards from that and say, I'm so stressed. I just need time and space. And what does that time and space involve? Are you someone who is affected massively by the lack of sunshine?
Yeah.
Again, really obvious stuff, but that really will formulate what you need to do. And I think also you don't. And another thing, you said one thing, but I'm going to add on to.
That's
okay. People try to get so complicated on stuff. We really do. It's like the more complicated it has to be better. Just keep it simple. Like fitness for me has been about just fitting into my life, as opposed to okay, yes, you got to make time for it, obviously, because everyone has excuses, but do the things that you like, fit it in around. I want to spend time with friends. Yeah, you want to go out for a beer, do it, but everything in that moderation. Okay, so don't beat yourself up on it. We're very harsh on ourselves, so you got to give yourself that time and space to say, what, actually, yeah, look after yourself, be caring for yourself. And so you've got all the pressures in life, family, work, deadlines, all these things that we have. So yeah, be kind and say, okay, what can I do, and do that in your lifestyle. And then retreats, obviously, like I say, just find out what because you go on something that could be really good, but you're not going to get the full benefit from it, maybe. So that would be for a retreat perspective.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
thank you. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Limewood Herb House Spa, Justin, and we will keep you up to date with all the retreats. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.